Welcome Gemini to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 20th of May for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. On the screen now I'm showing your event chart right at the start of the week, which provides some important clues on how things will unfold. Now there's a big collective of energy in house 12, including your ruler Mercury, which moved into this location last week. The 12th house is quite complex. It can be where we withdraw, retreat, recharge and renew, but it can also be where we culminate. And because you've got the two planets of fortune in house 12, Venus, the ruler of Taurus, but also Jupiter, very much in the mix, it's possible that a lot of hard work you've been putting in, possibly behind the scenes over a long period of time, may be on the cusp of being manifested in a much more outgoing and creative way, which can bring much more recognition to you. But if you have been thinking or enjoying anything to do with personal development, healing, getting out in nature, just taking some moments to just think carefully about what you want, that is all absolutely in keeping with where the planets are. But there is an out here, and that is Mars. Mars continues in its home sign of Aries. It's very thrust in here, but it's close to the position of the North Node. This is known as the point of destiny, and this combination right at the start of this week suggests that wherever you want to invest your passion, and if you're really clear about that future direction, you can do so with an enormous amount of conviction. Now that brings us to Tuesday, because it's really exciting, and what I'm going to go on to share with you now, Gemini, is quite simply sensational. So on Tuesday, the Sun returns to your sign for the first time in 11 months. The Sun moving into Gemini means that your love of communication suddenly gets switched back on. The time of pausing and reflecting is not quite at an end, but it's certainly travelling towards a more outgoing vibe. But the Sun links to Pluto. Pluto in its retrograde in your fellow air sign of Aquarius, very much about transforming your ideas, your knowledge, downloading different ways of thinking and connecting with the world at large. But if you've got individual things that you want to say that are very important to you, this combination is absolutely brilliant and can see some kind of big shift, either externally in your physical circumstances or in terms of how you are communicating and connecting with your inner world. But on Thursday, Venus, the planet of charm, but also of money and relating, joins up in your sign with the Sun, but also links with Pluto. Now that becomes exact on Saturday, but it's going to get the energy of Pluto almost straight away. Venus in your own sign is wonderful to restart your connection to others, and potentially in a romantic context too. If you have gone through a separation recently, or you've been thinking more about someone you used to be involved with recently, perhaps reminiscing, it wouldn't be a complete surprise. But Venus moving into your sign is a wonderful opportunity for you to recast your identity through your personal appearance, which Venus governs through its rulership of Libra, presentation in some kind of glamorous, new and dynamic way. And Pluto's pushing you to be open-minded about how you do this. But also, intriguingly, on Thursday, there is a full moon in your opposite sign. This is a challenge in a way, because the moon represents the people you're connecting to. And someone may say over the following 2 weeks that you are being too single-minded about focusing on something that's very important to you. But you mustn't be deflected. The Sun and the Moon represent very different principles. The Sun at this time for you is a once-in-a-year opportunity to manifest what makes you completely unique. And that charisma, therefore, can be maximized, particularly because of Pluto's supportive energy. And in the case of Venus, Venus and Pluto across these two signs have not connected for over 220 years. And it means that Pluto applies to the Sun in a trine and the Moon in a sextile, both enabling energies. So you may need to say to someone, look, I hear what you're saying, but this is very, very important for me at this present time. This is something I've been planning, researching, developing for a long period. And this is a crucial time for me to really be single-minded. But then, on Saturday, Jupiter, the planet of growth, the planet of fortune, the planet which is very much to do with optimism, self-belief, self-assurance, returns to your sign for the first time in 12 years. Technically debilitated in Gemini. Why? Jupiter is very much about the energy of Sagittarius in terms of higher principles, philosophies, history. For its rulership of Pisces, very much about faith. In your sign, which is about quick communications, Jupiter in a way is conflicted, but that doesn't mean to say it can't still be very positive for you. Jupiter is going to give you more sense of belief. But because of its angle to Pluto, again, if you're open, just like Venus, first time in over 200 years, if you're open to really transform something about your life in a truly significant way, a massive shift can unfold at this time. So what starts off this week seeming to be quite reflective, potentially very sensitive, maybe more conscious of who's not with you, there is a chance actually to seize the moment in the most dramatic of ways. So whatever you're interested in, whether it is in terms of your personal hobbies, your work, where your flair and creativity shine, if you're someone with a particular gift, this is the time to turn up the dial to absolute max. Do not hold back. And if there is anything to say about that 12th house energy, it's not to doubt yourself. It's to reassure yourself that the cycle that we all go through in that period before our birthday is just this year that much more intense because there's so many more players occupying that space. But that just really can give you a much greater opportunity to release anything that's no longer serving your greater purpose. Move into the moment, occupy it, and really demonstrate to people just how determined, how inspirational, and how exciting your ideas, personality, and desires can be. Have a great week, Gemini. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've yet to subscribe, please do so now.